What happens if you cross an upside-down sheep with a regular one? What kind of baby will they have? Does cake generate electricity? Can a creeper wink before exploding? Today, my dear friends, I have selected the most incredibly interesting secret tricks in Minecraft that you might not know. Some of them were definitely known to me, and some were indeed a surprise even to me. This is certainly going to be interesting, so let's get started. The first myth states that cows are afraid of rails. More precisely, they see the rails as an insurmountable obstacle similar to a fence. This definitely needs to be checked. Let's start by observing how cows behave under normal conditions. And we see that the cows scatter, and one of them even ended up in the second pit after crossing the rails, which partially debunks the myth. But to be sure that the myth is actually debunked, the cows need to be placed in the second pit in order to... Wow, the cows really can't actually get out of there, while the small cows truly easily get past the fence, but the adult cows keep standing there despite the extremely tight space. The myth is indeed absolutely confirmed. The second myth states that mushroom cows are often believed to be a source of infinite, nutritious and delicious food. Everyone knows that such cows actually give milk, but I personally didn't know that they also indeed really provide mushroom stew. To do this, you need to take a bowl, aim at the cow and click the right mouse button. And yes, indeed, mushroom cows do provide mushroom stew. Just one of these cows is enough to never need food again. Myth definitely confirmed. The third myth, and again cows and fire. If for some reason a cow actually catches fire, it will look for the nearest water body to extinguish the fire. Have you ever seen burning cows? It's truly indeed hard to believe that developers would bother with such trivial nonsense. And let's take a look at this. We set a cow on fire and the cow really runs to extinguish itself in the water body. This is what attention to detail from the developers looks like. Very cool. The myth is definitely confirmed. The fourth myth is that witches are absolutely not at all afraid of fire. The myth goes that if you throw a witch into lava, she will definitely not take damage from burning. In Minecraft, there are generally few creatures with immunity to fire, and the myth is questionable. Let's test it. We place the witch on a block, throw her into the lava, and at first, the witch caught fire and started taking damage. But immediately drank a fire resistance potion, which always works on her, and as long as the witches don't run out of potions, it can be confidently said that the myth is confirmed. Fifth myth, continuing the topic of falls. All creatures in Minecraft take fall damage, except those that can fly, of course. Obviously, cows, goblins, zombies, and even the warden take fall damage, such as... What about the myth that cats in the popular game Minecraft do not take fall damage? It sounds kind of logical, because we all know that cats always land on their feet. This definitely needs to be checked. Absolutely. We take a cat, drop it, and it doesn't take any damage at all. To be sure, I dropped a few more cats and even a few cows, and all the cats survived. The myth is definitely confirmed. Myth 6. A fox can actually attack with a sword. What? Numerous creatures in Minecraft can really indeed carry various items. Mostly it's blocks and all sorts of junk, but what you definitely don't expect to see is a fox with a sword. But here's the question, does that sword increase the fox's damage? Unlike a wolf, a fox will not attack the player. The only ones you can test this theory on are chickens. Foxes hunt them. To kill a regular chicken, a regular fox needs to hit it 2 times. Now let us check the fox with a sword. It really attacks the chicken, and yes, indeed, a little bit more. Yes, my dear ones, it indeed kills it with 1 hit. This definitely means the sword on the fox really works. So the myth is definitely confirmed. 7th myth. Can the iron golem indeed go crazy and start attacking peaceful animals? That's how the myth goes. If the iron golem is named Johnny, it will gently start killing peaceful and harmless animals during the nighttime hours. It seems to be a reference by the developers to the movie The Shining, where a character named Johnny goes crazy. The idea is interesting. We need to check it out. We name it Johnny and nothing, absolutely nothing. The behavior of the Iron Golem did not change at all, in any way whatsoever. This Easter egg appeared in the game back in the year of 2016, and it might just be considered to be outdated now, but the myth, however, is definitely debunked, which is 8th myth. In the previous episode, we learned that if you name someone Graham, that character will walk on their head, which is quite unusual and interesting. But here's the question. If you turn a sheep upside down and try to crossbreed it with a regular sheep, will it work? And if so, what kind of child will they have? Inverted or regular, perhaps? Let's check now. We name the sheep Graham, give it just wheat, and who will appear? Ta-da-da-dam, and a regular sheep appears, not an inverted one. This partially busts the myth. But here's another question. If you look at the world through the eyes of an inverted sheep, will the picture be inverted? We enter observer mode, select the sheep, and no. The answer is definitely no. It will indeed be exactly the same as usual, so the myth is completely and utterly busted. 9th myth, sticky floor. In the previous video, we learned that if you place small blocks on ice, they will have a sliding effect, which is quite fascinating and intriguing. Will this work with honey blocks? For those who don't know, honey actually slows down your movement and indeed, in fact, really prevents you from jumping very high. Let's test this. We definitely try to make a jump, and it looks like yes, indeed it works. We try running, and yes, you slow down. It's especially amusing to move between the ice and the sticky floor. Unusual sensations. I definitely recommend you try it too. You can also prank your friends, and the myth is definitely confirmed. The 10th myth, the secret message. Now we will test a truly magnificent myth, one that even I didn't know about. It goes like this. If you play music discs number 11 and 13 simultaneously at the same time, we will hear a creepy and eerie message from the developers. This definitely needs to be thoroughly checked. Let's connect both discs together and listen. Yes, we hear a terrified person digging a cave, and these sounds are really creepy indeed. And as for the myth itself, the myth is definitely confirmed. 11 Myth Creeper Palace. If someone doesn't know, a lightning strike on different creatures causes different reactions. For example, a lightning strike turns a villager into a witch, but if lightning strikes a creeper, it turns into a charged creeper. And the myth goes like this. The explosion of such a creeper blows off the heads of monsters, including other creepers. This needs to be tested. We charge the lightning, indeed provoke the creeper, and wow, it actually turns out to be true, and the exact head I definitely wanted indeed dropped, so the myth is absolutely confirmed. 12th myth, creepers blink. What? There is a myth that right before exploding, a creeper closes its eyes for a very short time. I never really paid attention to that, it's quite curious. Let's check it out. I spent an enormous amount of time, effort and determination, 120 creepers, several respawns and even replays, but I still didn't see that blinking creeper. Maybe I was doing something wrong, I think, or maybe the chance is very small, perhaps a bit, but alas, unfortunately. Write in the comments if you managed to see it, but I believe the myth is busted. 13th myth. The cake generates electricity. Wow, are you guys crazy? This game can really surprise you. In fact, the cake absolutely has a lot of calories, and calories are indeed energy sources, just believe it or not. But not so literally. Let's test it. We set up the mechanism and wow, the cake actually charges redstone and even activates the piston. However, the myth also states that the smaller the cake, the weaker the signal. And by taking a big bite out of the cake, we confirm this, which means the myth is fully confirmed. The 14th myth, the chest under the dirt. If there is any object above the chest will not open. And that makes sense. However, the myth goes like this. If you place dirt over the chest and dig this dirt with a hoe, the chest will open. If we test this, we will confirm that it is indeed true. And this is regardless of the size of the chest and the number of blocks. Unfortunately, this trick isn't particularly useful because if there is no water and plants nearby, the dirt will need to be constantly dug up. The trick is useless, but you can surprise a friend, and it also means that the myth is confirmed. The 15th myth, music and redstone. I won't surprise you much if I say that a jukebox also charges redstone, because after the cake, it's hard to be surprised by anything. However, the myth goes like this. Indeed, it does in fact. Different music discs provide different signal strengths. Some discs do not provide any signal at all, and this indeed really needs to be checked. I connected various different discs, and indeed the piston turns on and off, and it is indeed absolutely true. Different discs indeed provide various levels of electrical charge, so the myth is confirmed. The 16th myth, a caravan of llamas. I have never raised llamas, but if you ever decide to do so, this myth will definitely be very useful for you. Llamas are indeed very social creatures. They gather in parties of 10 individuals and always move together. If you take a leash and try to, for example, attempt to lead one of them away, the others will, such as their group member, follow. I already knew this myth, but I found it really quite interesting and very intriguing. And while I walk my flying llama, you have time to give a like and subscribe to the channel so I have the motivation to keep releasing such videos. That's all for now. Goodbye everyone.